你男朋友一个月赚多少钱才可以养活你？
不多，一个月大概100万左右吧。因为我觉得一个男生如果一个月100万都赚不到的话，都是废物，不知道要来干嘛。
要多少彩礼呢？
都要200-300万吧，低了200-300万，我家肯定不会让我嫁的。
你家有陪嫁吗？
我家陪嫁的话，就是陪一层被子呀，红色的4件套啊。
今年多大了呢？
永远18岁呀。
月薪达到多少才可以追你？
至少要10万以上吧。低了10万的就别追我了，配不上我，是吧？
就让你男朋友开什么车？
法拉利呀，兰博基尼呀，跑车，我喜欢跑车。
那我想问一下，你的月薪是多少？
我现在还在实习，刚出来工作，1800。
1800？
对呀，我相信我绝对能到达5000的。
找男孩子要找多高的？
要80以上吧，要90的。
我问一下，你结婚的话需要彩礼吗？
肯定要啊。
那彩礼大概能说一个数吗？
我觉得像我这个条件，怎么也要500万吧。
那你可以说一下你的条件吗？
身高1.8米加，有房有车，年入100万。
我的意思是你的自身条件，不是说你的择偶标准。
我的自身条件呢，就是本科毕业，然后身高是170，和爸妈一起住，然后我工作是前台，然后我工资是每个月3500多，差不多。
OK， 好，那你的要求就是大概500万的彩礼。
对，我觉得这个是比较基础的一个要求。
月入多少男生可以养活你
？20万吧。
那可以说一下你在北京一个月多少开销吗
？10万左右。
这么多吗？你是干啥的花这么多？
职业模特。
没有房子、没有存款、没有事业的3无女人，这类女人极其可怕。
Brothers, you must remember, stay away from those 3 no women, women who have no house, no savings, and no career. These women are extremely dangerous. You could say they are almost like beggars in marriage. Their goal is to use marriage as a tool to precisely alleviate poverty, relying on men to change their fate and gain wealth. The most notable characteristic of these women is that they treat marriage as a means of obtaining economic support and material security. They are waiting for men to provide them with so-called living subsidies, while they themselves have no intention of contributing anything. In modern society, especially in the industrial era, women's education and work abilities are no less than those of men. If you choose a 3-no woman, have you considered the risks this might bring? These women are usually filled with a robber mentality. They see men as tools to cross classes, and treat marriage as a springboard to escape poverty. What's even more terrifying is that once they achieve an improvement in their living conditions, you cannot guarantee that they will remain loyal to you and grow old together. It's very likely that one day, they will turn their back on you and even leave you without hesitation if any conflict arises. This behavior and mindset are precisely what makes them so dangerous. What is a beggar? A beggar is someone who survives by begging. When they accept food from others, they don't pick and choose. They don't care if the food is cold, hot, or spoiled, as long as it fills their stomach. But these 3-no women are different. Despite having nothing, they are extremely picky and demanding when it comes to men. What's even scarier is that they fail to see their own reality. For them, receiving food from begging is already a stroke of luck, but they are still unsatisfied, constantly wanting more. They are driven by a strong greed and lack any sense of gratitude. Don't think that women today are universally well educated or have high academic achievements. Compared to women from the 70s and 80s, women of this generation often have lower abilities. Most women from the 70s and 80s worked hard to achieve personal value and earned social recognition. But today, many women have high educational degrees but lack the abilities to match. Some even have weak moral principles, and a complete lack of boundaries. Some women openly say, "I just want to marry a rich man." What is conscience? How much is conscience worth? These women have completely lost their moral compass, corrupted by capitalism, and no longer adhere to any ethical standards. Concepts like thrift, virtuousness, and good character are rarely seen in modern women. Even when they are present, they are in short supply. Nowadays, we often see women who cheat after marriage, even abandoning their husbands and children, becoming women who go through multiple marriages. There are also many leftover women of advanced age, and some women even choose not to marry at all. These phenomena make society more chaotic and complex. Even married women frequently complain about their husbands, saying they made a mistake by marrying, and resent being unpaid housewives. They argue that marriage is not worth it and forcefully promote female independence, while in reality, they just want to enjoy rights without bearing responsibility. There are also some relationship influencers online who pour toxic chicken soup into women's minds. For example, they encourage women not to marry, to avoid traditional family responsibilities, and promote the idea that bottom-tier women should not be slaves to men. They lead these women in the wrong direction. Such statements are made purely for profit, without considering the future of these women. These women's values become distorted, completely disregarding the true meaning of marriage and making a mess of their own lives. Marriage should be a process of mutual effort and responsibility. Yet, many women, especially those from lower social classes, demand too much. They want to gain without working but fail to recognize their own position. The truly capable and responsible women are the ones who contribute to society. When you look at those women with distorted values, some can barely earn 3,000 yuan a month, yet they criticize men and demand that men provide everything for them. Why should you? Is it just because you have a thick skin, or because of your unmotivated attitude? Your income is low, but you still think that there are many men with salaries of 100,000 yuan a month waiting to pursue you. Are you too naive? You are addicted to online toxic chicken soup, fantasizing about changing your destiny without any effort. If you keep living like this, your life will be filled with failure and regret. So, I advise all men to stay away from these 3 no women, and refuse to become their poverty alleviation targets.
In this world, there are indeed some poor women whose needs and attitudes are quite peculiar. These women not only hope for a man to bear all their financial burdens, but what's even more surprising is that they also expect the man to be completely obedient to them, treating him like a deity, almost worshipping him. Even more strangely, most of them have no special abilities, no depth of character, and even their appearance is unremarkable. Their youth has long passed, and their manners are lacking. They are not only foolish, lazy, and poor, but they also fail to show basic tenderness and care, and have particularly bad tempers. What's even more laughable is that these poor women often enjoy educating and criticizing wealthy men, giving off a very dominant impression. They always think they know exactly how men should behave, and even feel they have the right to lecture them. Honestly, you are not in a good position yourself. You can't even make your own money, and you're poor. Isn't it embarrassing for you? You have little leverage, yet you're out there criticizing men, demanding they earn hundreds of thousands of yuan a month to be worthy of pursuing you. Don't you see your own situation clearly?
为什么很多月薪3000的女生在婚恋市场上看不起月薪1万的男生？
In the marriage market, it is common for some women with a monthly salary of 3,000 yuan to look down on men who earn 10,000 yuan a month. These women, who often come from ordinary family backgrounds, tend to set many unrealistic and even outrageous demands during blind dates. There are many deep-rooted reasons behind this phenomenon, but the main reason is that there are just too many simps among men. In reality, many ordinary women, as long as they are active on social media, can easily attract a bunch of men who will fawn over them. Every day, these men take them out to dinner and give them gifts. Sometimes, the money spent on meals and gifts in a month can far exceed their own salary. Although these women may only earn 3,000 yuan a month, their quality of life can easily surpass that of men who earn 10,000 yuan a month. These simps provide many hidden benefits, which turns gender itself into a huge advantage. What's even more absurd is that many men who earn 20,000 yuan a month still act as simps when they pursue women who earn only 3,000 yuan. Once these women have experienced being pursued by a simp who makes 20,000 yuan, they will think that men who earn only 10,000 yuan are not sincere enough and don't deserve to pursue them. The main reason for this is simply that there are too many simps. In fact, many men claim that they do not want to be simps, but once they meet a woman they like, they can't control themselves and start acting like one. Some even deceive themselves, thinking, this woman is different from the other gold diggers, believing that their behavior does not count as being a simp. Some men, when pursuing women they don't like as much, fall into simp behavior when the woman uses some subtle tactics, and even think that it's the woman who is pursuing them actively. They feel pleased with themselves, thinking that since the woman made the first move, they are not simps. Furthermore, many men behave normally during the pursuit phase, but once a relationship is confirmed, they quickly turn into simps, and feel that being a simp for their girlfriend is perfectly normal. Why do so many men insist on being simps? It seems that they feel they have no choice. Many of the men around them, whether they are more handsome or wealthier, are also simps, and everyone is competing in the same way. It's like work where everyone is desperately working overtime. Why should they not be working overtime too? Moreover, we've been trained since childhood to compete in endurance. Isn't being a simp less exhausting than studying or working overtime? So, if you don't want to be a simp, what should you do? You should improve yourself. By improving emotional intelligence, meeting more women, you naturally won't feel the need to be a simp anymore. The so-called bad boys or players, who are often referred to as love saints, possess these two capabilities. While these concepts are easy to explain, most simps understand them too, but they are just unwilling to improve themselves. Instead, they'd rather spend several years and even tens of thousands of yuan becoming a simp, rather than making the effort to improve themselves. Improving oneself is a process that requires learning and training, but being a simp requires no effort at all, just accept it. They think being a simp is easy, and don't want to bother with the hassle of learning and self-improvement.
越穷的人越嫌贫爱富，你们身边有这种人吗？
In life, we often see that the poorer people are, the more likely they are to despise poverty and love wealth. For example, I have a cousin who is almost 30 years old. She works as a sales assistant in a mall, earning only 3,000 or 4,000 yuan a month. Despite her own financial situation not being great, she always expects others to provide her with an ideal living standard. Not long ago, I tried introducing her to a young man, but she wasn't interested in him. The reason was simple. The guy came from a rural area, didn't graduate from a prestigious university, and didn't have a car or house in the city center. To her, all these conditions indicated that the guy wasn't financially good enough and was simply unworthy of her. She just wanted to find someone who could bring her wealth and a better life. This phenomenon is actually quite common, and it almost represents those ordinary people who live at the bottom of society, enduring the pressures of a hard life. This mindset actually reflects a fundamental aspect of human nature. When a person is still at the bottom of society or struggling to climb up, their gaze naturally turns toward those who are stronger and more capable than they are. At this point, they tend to automatically ignore or even refuse to acknowledge that they are in the same social class as those around them. They reject the idea of being at the same level as people who are in the same or similar situations. These individuals are essentially dissatisfied with their own circumstances and, in fact, despise themselves. If they are unhappy with themselves, it's only natural that they would look down on others who don't meet their standards. However, this mindset shift is not inevitable. When a person achieves success, becomes wealthy enough, and has a broad enough vision and mindset, they no longer perceive the distinction between the rich and the poor. Take a simple example. When you own a car worth 300,000 yuan, you might look down on a domestic car worth only 100,000 yuan, and even envy a luxury car worth 1 million yuan. But if you eventually have the opportunity to drive a 5 million yuan car, you'll realize that, in the end, everyone's cars are essentially the same. The distinction between domestic and imported, cheap and expensive, fades away. This logic applies in the realm of wealth as well. Whether one is poor or rich is simply a part of human nature. It can be said that despising poverty and loving wealth is not a unique flaw in certain individuals, but rather a common phenomenon that aligns with the natural course of social development.
Brothers, be sure to avoid establishing relationships with women from a lower social class who also look down on men from the same social class. Engaging with such women often leads to a huge drain on men, both financially and emotionally. First, from a financial perspective, these women generally have poor economic conditions, with a monthly salary of around 3,000 yuan being quite common. They often lack independent abilities, lack motivation for self-improvement, and yet are somewhat vain, preferring a luxurious lifestyle but unwilling to put in the effort to achieve it. More often than not, they hope to gain financial dependence and support through their relationships with men, even believing that there is no need for them to strive or work hard. For instance, a high dowry is seen by them as a matter of course, and they view money as the key to their happiness, believing that men should provide financial security for their lives. They think it is natural for a man to earn money to support the family, while they only need to maintain their beauty and attract wealthy men to support them financially. Once you choose such a woman, you will likely become her provider, with your contributions continually demanded until you have nothing left. while she will continue to ask for more. Secondly, these women can also exert tremendous emotional pressure on men. Their thoughts are often extreme and radical. They frequently hold overly extreme feminist views, believing that if a man does not spend money on a woman, it means he doesn't love her, equating love with money. They insist on the notion that men earn money to support the family, while women are beautiful like flowers. They are often addicted to overly simplistic toxic positivity theories, believing that if a man does not meet their material needs, he cannot prove his love. These women's minds are filled with extreme ideas and an excessive reliance on money, and they find it difficult to understand the deeper meaning of love, always seeing money as the only standard of affection. As a result, men often experience tremendous emotional stress when interacting with them. Trying to change their mindset is nearly impossible. They don't believe in the man's feelings, yet continuously demand that he meet their material needs, harboring a defensive mindset against him and even attempting to control the man in the relationship. Therefore, if you encounter such a woman, one who is from a lower social class with extreme ideas and a strong dependency, it's best to distance yourself from her. Do you agree with my viewpoint? Feel free to leave a comment. I would love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Your support means a lot to us, and we will continue to bring you better content. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.